Hello everyone, this is Vince and welcome to VBV TV. Now I'm going to give you my reaction to the video, Why Are You Alive? Life, Energy, and ATP. Alright, so let's roll them.
At this very second, you are on a narrow ledge between life and death.
Alright, let's stop right there. Already this video starts off by being morbid. It says that we're in between life and death. And they use cartoons to illustrate this. All right, I guess to soften the blow. So according to this video already, we're on the precipice of death. All right, let's keep it rolling.
You probably don't feel it, but there's an incredible amount of activity going on inside you. And this activity can never stop. Picture yourself as a slinky falling down an escalator moving upwards. The falling part represents the self-replicating processes of your cells. The escalator represents the laws of physics driving you forwards. To be alive is to be in motion but never arriving anywhere. If you reach the top of the escalator, there's no more falling possible and you are dead forever.
This thing said once you reach the top of the escalator, you're dead forever. Not temporarily. I thought death was temporary. You know, you're going to have people, with this video, you're going to have people not wanting to go to the mall because they're going to be afraid to ride escalators because they're going to feel like once they get to the top of the escalator, they're going to die. This video is all about death so far. It first started off that we're in between life and death, and now we're on this escalator, and the escalator is riding up while we're walking down, but once you reach the top, you're dead. You're not only dead, you're dead forever. You know what I'm saying? That means they're trying to say there's no such thing as zombies. I don't agree with that. There's too many zombie movies not to believe that you can come back from the dead. All right, let's keep it rolling.
Somewhat unsettlingly, the universe wants you to reach the top.
All right, let's stop it here again. The universe, he said the universe wants you to reach the top. He's trying to say the universe wants you dead. I can't go with that theory. If the universe wants you dead, why were we born to begin with? Why don't the universe just not have us be born? Right? The universe, according to this video, wants you dead. So I don't know. I can't agree with you know what that sounds like? You know who sounds like that wrote that? A scientist who's an atheist wrote that line. The universe wants you dead. I can't subscribe to that one. I'm sorry.
How do you avoid that, and why are you alive? All life is based on the cell. A cell is a piece of the dead universe that separated itself from the rest so it could do its own.
All right, I have to stop it again. A cell is a piece of the dead universe. The dead universe, to me, the universe is not dead. It's alive. All right, I've never heard anyone state it that way. It's a dead universe. I'm telling you, a scientist who's an atheist are writing all these lines. The dead universe. I've never heard of such thing. Let's keep it moving.
So it could do its own thing for a while. When this separation breaks down, it dies and joins the rest of the dead universe again. Unfortunately, the universe would like for life to be done with doing its own thing. For some reason, it's not a fan of exciting things, but tries to be as boring as possible. We call this principle entropy, and it's a fundamental rule of our universe. It's pretty complicated and counterintuitive, so we'll explain it in detail in another video. For now...
All right, I gotta hold it right there. He said the universe doesn't like exciting things. The universe is boring. Where are they coming up with this stuff? They should really stick this just to the science part. This other theory that they have about the personality of the universe, it doesn't fit them well. Let's keep it going. The universe is boring. I've never heard that before.
All you need to know is living things are inherently exciting. A cell is filled up with millions of proteins and millions more simpler molecules like water. Thousands of complex self-replicating processes are happening up to hundreds of thousands of times every second. To stay alive and exciting, it has to constantly work to keep itself from achieving entropy and becoming boring and dead. The cell has to maintain the separation.
He said they have to work, so these cells have to work so that they don't become boring and dead. I've never associated boring with death. So that means if a person is boring, they're bordering on death? Because I know some boring people out there. Does that mean they're dying? Or they're one foot in the grave because they're boring? Why'd they use the word boring to describe a cell? I don't know. This is like Sesame Street for nerds.
From the rest of the universe. It's doing this, for example, by keeping the concentration of certain molecules different on the inside and the outside by actively pumping out excess molecules. To do stuff like this, a cell needs energy. Energy is the ability of things in the universe to do work, to move or manipulate a thing, to create change. This ability cannot be created or destroyed. The set amount of energy in the universe will never change. We don't know why, it just is that way. So, billions of years ago, one of the most crucial challenges for the first living beings was to get usable energy. We don't know a lot about the first cells, except that they got their energy from simple chemical reactions. And they found the ultimate energy transfer system, the energetic building block of life, the molecule adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. Its structure makes it uniquely good at accepting and releasing energy. When a cell needs energy, for example to pump out molecules or to repair a broken micromachine, it can break down ATP and use the chemical energy to do work and create change. This is why living beings are able to do stuff. We don't know when or how exactly the first ATP molecule was made on Earth, but every living thing we know uses ATP or something very similar to keep its internal machinery running. It's crucial for almost every process plants, fungi, bacteria, and animals need to survive. Without ATP, no life on Earth, possibly anywhere. While breaking down chemicals for energy is nice.
All right, so obviously this guy believes in aliens, because if you caught that last line, he was saying without ATP, no life on Earth or anywhere. So obviously he thinks there's Martians out there that need ATP like we do, because he said no life on Earth or anywhere. I'm telling you, this guy is a scientist. Let's get a profile of him. He's a scientist, he's atheist, and he believes in aliens. This is the profile of the person who wrote this video. Let's continue.
Nice and all, early life did miss out on the greatest available source of energy, the sun. The sun merges atoms and radiates photons away that carry energy into the solar system. But this energy is raw and indigestible. It needs to be refined. After hundreds of millions of years of evolution, finally, a cell figured out how to eat the sun. It absorbed radiation and converted much of it into neat little chemical packages that it could use to stay alive. We call this process photosynthesis.
Now, if you caught that, he said that a cell figured out how to eat the sun. All right, now I have to agree with him there because the cell has a lot of intelligence to it. So I can swing with him on that one, wording it that way, a cell figured out. I don't think a cell had the type of intelligence where it just sat down and said, if I start eating the sun, we can grow. I just think it's evolutionary, but there's still a lot of intelligence within a cell. So that's just my take on it. Let's continue.
You take photons that are wobbly with electromagnetic energy and use a part of this energy to merge and combine different molecules together. The electromagnetic energy is converted into chemical energy stored in the ATP molecule. This process became even better as some cells learned to create better chemical packages, glucose or sugar, easy to break down, high in energy, and pretty tasty. This is so convenient that some cells decided that instead of doing all that pesky photosynthesis work themselves, they would just swallow other cells that did and take their glucose and ATP. This is widely considered one of the biggest anime betrayals in evolutionary history. And so things went on. Photosynthesizing cells could mostly harness energy at their surfaces, which limited their maximum energy production, which limited their evolutionary avenues somewhat. So time passed. Some cells made sugar, others ate them. Evolution did its thing, but overall things stayed pretty much the same for hundreds of millions of years. Until one day, a cell ate another and did not kill it. Instead, they became one cell. Nothing had changed that day, but Earth would be different forever. This cell became the ancestor of all animals on this planet. Blue whales, amoeba, dinosaurs, jellyfish, pink fairy armadillos, and sandakalugos.
What the hell is a sandakalugos? And why did they pick that animal out of all animals? Why didn't they say lions, tigers, and bears? Oh my! He's up there saying lions, tigers, and sandakalubos. What's a sandakalubo? And where's it from? It looks like it's from Australia or something like that. I've never heard of a sandakalubo. Why would they use that animal of all animals? He was trying to make the point, all animals, but why use that particular animal? Why not an elephant or a giraffe? Something more common than a sandakalubo. He's just trying to show off, I think. Oh well, let's continue.
And of course, you. All can trace back their existence to this moment. The merging of two living beings is so important because when those two cells became one, they became way more powerful. The formerly independent cell in the inside could stop trying to survive. It could concentrate on one thing, make ATP. It became the powerhouse of the cell, the first mitochondria. The host cell's job became to ensure survival in the dangerous world and provide the mitochondria with food. Mitochondria basically reverse photosynthesis in a similarly complex process. They take sugar molecules that we got from eating other living things, combust them with oxygen and precursor molecules to make new, energy-rich ATP molecules. This process works like a tiny furnace and spits out waste products like CO2, water, and a little bit of kinetic energy that you experience as body heat. This first division of labor meant the new cell had way more energy available than any cell before, which meant more possibilities for evolution to enable more complex cells. At some point, these cells began to form small groups or communities, which led to
So I'm starting to see that these cells have like a social contact as well. These cells have their own Facebook and their own Twitter. So it wasn't Zuckerberg who came up with this idea of having a social network. It was cells that did it first. He got the idea from these cells.
cellular life, and finally, to you. Today, you are a pile of trillions of cells, each filled with dozens, if not hundreds of little machines that provide you with usable energy to stay alive. If this process is interrupted, even for a few minutes, you die. But if life is so fragile, wouldn't it be a good idea to store ATP, like we store sugar in our fat cells, so we don't die if we stop breathing for a while? If life has solved so many problems to make you live today, what's up with the dying quickly thing? Even simple bacteria like E. coli make about 50 times their body weight in ATP for every cell division. Your trillions of cells need a lot of ATP to keep you around. Every day, your body produces and converts about 90 million billion molecules of ATP.
That's a big number. 90 million billion. They don't even have a number like that in the English language or any other language. Imagine that. 90 million billion. That's crazy. That's no one can count that high. Not in their lifetime, I don't think.
About your own body weight. You need a whole person's worth of ATP just to make it through a single day.
You need your body weight in ATP to make it through a day. That means that they're constantly creating ATP and we're constantly consuming it as well. Your body weight in ATP? Imagine that. Suppose you created your body weight in waste product. Ugh, I hate to be nasty, but just imagine it. That you gave off the amount of solid waste you gave off each day equaled your body weight. You would have to live in the toilet. I'm not trying to be gross, but I'm just trying to give some perspective.
Even storing enough ATP to last you a few minutes is basically impossible. An ATP molecule is really good for shifting energy around quickly, but it's terrible for storage since it has only 1% of a glucose molecule's energy at 3 times its mass. So ATP is constantly produced and used up fairly quickly. This was the short and simplified story of the molecule that allows you to be different from the dead universe and to be the slinky on the escalator.
There he goes with the dead universe thing. I can't get with that terminology or definition. There's no such thing as a dead universe, in my opinion.
It is a weird story. There is this molecule you need to survive at all times. You need it to keep moving because even a short break brings your slinky to a stop. And you need to make it yourself.
He said you need this molecule to survive. Because even a short... He cracked me up with this one. You got to listen to this. He said even a short break will bring your slinky to a stop. Now that was funny. Bring your slinky to a stop. Oh my God. What is he talking about? Slinky. That sounds kind of sexual. Slinky.
It's like driving a car at full speed while producing fuel in the trunk with junk that you pick up from the side of the road. As far as we know, this all began billions of years ago when tiny parts of the dead universe came together and became something else for a moment. It could keep itself going. It could grow. That moment set the slinky in motion, and it's been going ever since. From the very first cells to you watching this now. At some point, you will merge with the rest of the dead universe again. Maybe you'll...
All right. I'm not merging with a dead universe. I'm merging with the universe. It's not dead. All right? I don't know what he means by that, a dead universe. All right? Everything has vibration to it. So, what's he talking about?
Maybe you'll tell it stories about your adventures. Maybe not. But before you find out, you get to do what life does best. Making a dead universe much more interesting. If you are currently bored for whatever reason and you want to make your life more interesting, we've got something for you. We partnered with Skillshare, an online...
Alright, so now they're promoting other stuff. Well, I thought this video was very interesting. It took a couple of creative licenses, as far as I'm concerned, with their terminology, dead universe and all this stuff. And the universe warning us to get to the top of the escalator so we can be dead forever rather than just dead for a little while. So it was interesting. I found it enjoyable and quite educational. So I hope you enjoyed my reaction to it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can be alerted to all my other content. And I'll be seeing y'all again. All right? Peace.